Anyway, how's it going, guys? Painting some more stuff for my car. Those are the fog light covers. So they go right there. I figured it'd look way better. Tomorrow I get the windshield. They're supposed to be here between 10 and 2. A little bit more about my car. It is a 2012 Chevy Camaro RS. It is a V6, but I do have some stuff modified underneath the hood. Pistons, rods, camshaft. So I do have some stuff. I do plan on getting a supercharger to put on the top. That'll put me about 600 horsepower. I will have to get it tuned, which I do have a tuner. I also have the tuning software on my laptop. So if I really wanted to, I can tune it myself. I do know how to. It is a great car. If you ever wreck it, it is very expensive to fix. I've spent over $7,000 fixing this car. And I do everything myself. Nothing against mechanics. I just learned when at a young age. My dad taught me, if you want something done, do it yourself. If you don't know how to do it, trial and error. And that's pretty much what I kind of done. I have done full restorations of cars before in the past. Sadly, I don't have videos of it because it was when I was a teenager. But yeah, I paint everything myself, and I use car paint so it can withstand the heat. It can withstand, the times. I did paint everything myself, even the bow tie. I also did do my rims. Me and my girlfriend did them in about 3.5 hours. It was a real hot sunny day, so it dried pretty quickly. Then I also did do everything in the inside of my car. It is an automatic, but I also do have the shifters. Get some parts back there. That's for me taking out my seat belts, which come on Thursday. But yeah. But I promised you guys a video to go a little bit more in depth in my car. I did just get these bulbs for my fog lights. They're expensive, $100 for 2 of them. I do plan on getting the fender, the hood, my bumper. I do plan on getting that painted. It is going to be the same color black. Once it's painted, probably a couple months later or so, I'm going to get it wrapped. I'm going to do a camo blue wrap. And then I'm a big fan of the Punisher. I love the Punisher movies. Don't really care for the show too much, but I'm going to have it black Punisher. So it'll be blue camo with the black Punisher on the hood. Today, what I did to my car other than painting, those little sensors right there, they came in last week. I was able to get them put on today. I did take my bumper off earlier, and I had to put wires, where they go, and the little clips and everything. The headlights, this is why I say if you have a Camaro, they are expensive. The headlights alone are $800 a piece. Luckily, I found a company on eBay that had them brand new in stock, and I paid $300 a piece, which was awesome. Some of the parts I did have to get from the dealership because it is dealership only parts. Like this little guy here and the bracket that it sits on got broken in the car accident. I did have to get a new one of these, which I installed it all myself. And this tube right here was broken. The computer, the bracket for the computer was broken. Thankfully, Chevy makes a great vehicle, and they reinforced the front bumper. So when I hit, the impact wasn't that bad, and it did not bend my frame or bend anything, which I got lucky. My cold air intake, my old one did get messed up, so I did have to buy a new one and paint it myself. Just to kind of give you an example, this is my old one. Well, this is the old box for it. It did get pretty banged up, so I bought a new one. The filter, surprisingly, the filter itself This is a new filter, but I do have the old filter, and it's actually in great condition. It didn't get damaged in the wreck. This piece here did. I had to get a new one, and I had to paint it. Other than that, everything else survived. The radiator survived everything. The radiator support did not, so I did have to put a new radiator support on here. So this is all brand new. This is brand new, the bumper. A lot of money, a lot of time. I wrecked it December 1st of 2018, and it's now, what, 2020? So, I mean, it's been quite some time. It's been over a year since it's been drivable. The fenders in the front bumper and the hood are the first things I got. The same with the stuff for the motor. Those are the first things I got. All the other cosmetics kind of stuff. And the bow tie and like this, I bought a couple months later. I had to save up a little bit of money for it. But other than that, I mean, they got all of it right away. What's been taking me so long is I'm a truck driver, so I work a lot. So pretty much on the weekends, or if I'm even home on the weekends, because sometimes I'm only home maybe one day out of the week, or 1 day out of the weekend. So I get that 1 day to try to come out here and work on my car and get stuff done, and that's why it's taking me so long. And not only that, but it's cost me a bunch of money. But she's my baby. I love her. That's the only reason why I'm fixing her. If not, I would have let her go to an auction or a junkyard. But I love my car too much. Let's see. This badge is custom. I did order it. My Chevy bow tie back here. The reason why there's a hole. It is LED. So you slide it in, plug it in to the wiring harness that I have back in my trunk. And then when you start the car and the headlights come on at night and the tail lights, it lights up blue. I did do all that too. It does have a Megaflow exhaust on it, which is great because it sounds beautiful. It does, or did, I plan on putting them back on, but it did have LEDs all the way around, or neon lights, I'm sorry, all the way around. And they lit up 6 different colors. Here in Colorado, it is legal. You can drive on the streets with LEDs, which is awesome, because in Washington State, where I'm from, you couldn't even have LEDs or anything on your car, or neon lights or anything on your car, period. Not even sitting in a parking lot. They would pull up and give you a fat fine. They would ticket the hell out of you. So Colorado is great. They let us do it. So I did take advantage of it. Yes, it is a little bit rice, don't get me wrong, but at nighttime when you have all the lights blue, the back's lit up blue, it just looks awesome. Especially with the top down. I do not have blue LEDs in my car. I don't want to put LEDs in my car. The only thing that lights up in my car is there is a strip that goes along here, and that is factory. That came in the car when I bought the car. And I can't remember if my dash lights are blue or red. I'm not quite sure. I'll have to double check. But if they are red, I do plan on changing them to blue. I'm a big blue person. Blue is my favorite color. And I'm trying to go with a black and blue theme for my car. It's what I did from day one. The day I drove it off the lot, I knew what I wanted to do with it. Some of the stuff, like a lot of the front end stuff and all the back end stuff and the old parts were blue. When I wrecked it, I had to buy new stuff, so I painted it blue again. But it is expensive. This hood alone, just for it being primered, I could have got it paint matched from the place I bought it from, but they wanted an extra $550 just to paint match it, and I told them no, just send me the hood, just put primer on it. That way when I'm ready to, I can paint it, or I can take it to a shop and paint it, or have my buddy paint it. The same with the fenders and the front bumper. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I love this car. It is awesome. It's quick. I get a lot of looks in it. I used to drive from, I live here in downtown Denver, and I used to drive from downtown Denver to Aurora every day for work. And a lot of people looked at it. I do have some stuff I got to put back on my car, like this bottom panel right here. I have to repaint it blue and put it back on my car. The same with this little strip here, goes on the bottom of my car. All the rest of this stuff, like that, most of this stuff is just extra parts that I bought just to have extra stuff. Some of it I didn't need, some of it I did use. This goes to my trunk. I do have a spare headlight. It's a driver's side headlight. It is brand new. The people that sent it to me didn't package it right, so one of the side mounts for it got broken, and I emailed them and let them know, hey, it wasn't packaged right. I took a picture of it as soon as I got it, and I looked inside the box and noticed it was broken. I took a picture instantly, sent it off to them in an email, and they got back to me within maybe 20 minutes and said, okay, we'll send you a brand new one. Just go ahead and keep that one, keep it as a spare. Which me, yeah, please, because them things are not cheap. So I did keep it. They're awesome. They got the other headlight, the driver's side headlight, brand new. They packaged it the right way. They got it to me in a day. Like, that's how great this company was. Unfortunately, I don't have the company's name because my old eBay account, someone hacked it and stole a bunch of my card information, so I had to close that account and get a new one and get a whole new bank card. So yeah, so a lot of these parts I had to buy through eBay. It's very hard to find a person that had a wrecked Camaro and good enough shape for me to get parts off of here in the state of Colorado. I checked 10 different states around Colorado, and nobody had any of them. The reason why, a lot of the sports cars or exotic cars or whatever, when they get in a wreck, they don't go to a junkyard. They go straight to an auction house, and they auction them off for people to buy. And I thought about doing that, but for me to do that, I would have had to get either a dealer's license or a resale license to be able to go to an auction and get that, which is not that expensive, but I just didn't want to go through the hassle. So I just ordered my stuff off of eBay. Went to the dealership for certain things that I couldn't find on eBay. A lot of the stuff at the dealership was more expensive than it was on eBay, like the sensors that I just showed you. I paid $80 for 2 of them, brand new in the package, never opened. The dealership wanted $600 for those 2, so $300 a piece plus tax. Yeah, ridiculous. I did find one guy that bought a car from an auction, and that's where I got maybe 3 of my parts. The hood cover, or the engine cover, sorry, not the hood cover, engine cover, I did get from him. Luckily, he gave it to me for free, which is awesome because they're like almost $100 from the dealership. So I did get it for free. I bought that dashboard that was in my shed that I showed you guys. I did buy that from him. Me and him took 2 hours to rip it out. That's the first time I took a dashboard out of a car, and trial and error. So we pulled it out. I knew exactly how to get my old one out and put this one in. The dashboard that is in my car right now, I did buy off of eBay because that dashboard doesn't have the HUD display, and it didn't have the speaker in the middle of the dashboard, which I'll show you here in just a second. So I did have to go on eBay and find a dashboard. So it didn't have this speaker here. That is the speaker. And then it doesn't have the heads-up display spot. And then tomorrow when the windshield gets out, I got to put that in. Just the wiring for it wasn't long enough. To be able to put in with the windshield in. So when they pull my old broken windshield out, excuse me, I will put that in. And I know people are probably going to ask, that's pretty bad. That is not from anybody hitting the windshield. The way Chevy has the airbag in this thing is it shoots straight up from the dashboard, hits the window, and then comes out towards the passenger. Unfortunately, the seatbelts, my original seatbelts in this car, did not do their job. They did not lock. They were defaulted. They did not lock on either side. Luckily, I didn't get hit by the airbag and I didn't fly forward because I did something you're not supposed to do. I put my arms straight out on the steering wheel. Luckily, I didn't break my arms, which my brother got in a car accident and did the same thing, and he broke both of his arms because you're not supposed to. But I just want to secure myself as much as possible because as soon as the guy hit his brakes and slammed on his brakes and smoked his tires, and I noticed it, I pretty much just held on. I hit my brakes as hard as I could and held on, but I couldn't stop quick enough. How I got in the accident, I was driving from Aurora by the Aurora Mall back here to downtown Denver, and before you get to the 25 interchange, I was doing 65, which is the speed limit. I was about 5 car lengths away from the guy in front of me. He had no one in front of him for probably 30 or 40 cars. I did have a car on my right. We were in the far left lane. I did have a car on my right, and I had a brick wall on my left. As soon as he hit his brakes and I seen the tires smoking, I held on, hit my brakes, and just slid right into him. We actually impacted twice. My car slid into him, went underneath his car, pushed his car forward. His car got off of my car, and then he slammed on his brakes again, so I hit his car again, and then we finally came to a dead stop. My car did automatically shut off. That is a safety feature in the Camaro and a lot of Chevy cars. I'm not sure about any other make or model of cars out there, but in mine, your car automatically shuts off to make sure that it doesn't start on fire or anything. There was a bunch of smoke, a bunch of airbag dust. We were stuck in the left lane. Luckily, about 5 minutes after the accident, I was actually able to get in my car, put the key in, start it, and move it to the side of the road, which is great because it started right up. The only fluid that I actually leaked was window washer fluid and power steering fluid. Those are the only two fluids I actually leaked. Those are the only two systems that got damaged because they're right in the front of the car by the bumper. So the window washer fluid is on your left-hand side, and it's literally behind the bumper. It's mounted behind the bumper. And then the power steering, I don't know what you want to call it, catch reservoir or something. I can actually show you. Or it might have been, yeah, power steering. Let me look real quick. Oh, nope, it was a coolant container. I'm sorry, not power steering. It was a coolant container. It's just like the overflow coolant container. It's this thing right here. It sits literally right behind the bumper. So when my car impacted, it crushed it. But by it crushing this, it stopped it from crushing my fuse panel, which is great because that's expensive. But the window washer fluid thing's right here. Literally. Right there. Right behind the bumper. And those are the only two fluids that I really leaked. But since this was an overflow for the radiator, I didn't leak any radiator fluid. I leaked whatever was in here in that little container, and that was pretty much it. These should be almost dry, and then I got to do two clear coats. I'm not a professional painter. I've been painting since I was a kid. My friends and kids around my neighborhood, we had like a little boiler room in the back of my mom and dad's house, because it was an old farm style kind of house, and I used to take their bikes and strip them and paint them for them, and that's kind of how I got into painting. I wouldn't say I'm great, but I am decent. I do good work. I don't have any drips on any of my stuff. Now being 32, I pretty much kind of perfected how to do it without messing it up for the most part. Sometimes I do have a little bit of accidents here and there, little smudges, and I'll have to, start over, which is kind of frustrating because that car paint that I use is not cheap. It's about $23 a can. And I have to have this certain code for them to know what exact color that I need it in. The color that I use is navy blue. For my car, I'll have to try to get it paint matched as much as possible if I paint it myself. I do have the codes. It's on the inside of the door. But with this quarantine shit going on and this coronavirus, it is kind of hard to get any paint right now because they're trying to keep, social distancing and stuff. Right now, I am charging my battery. I went and bought this battery charger and jumper yesterday, and I'm charging my battery now. And sorry, my shed's a mess. It's been a mess. I've been trying to get so much done to this car, but yeah, it's a good battery charger. It'll also jump my car if I needed to jump my car. I like it. I mean, I pulled it out of the box and I was like, yeah, that would do it. But other than that, all my Chevy emblems that say, Camaro or whatever are all right there. I do have to resand them and paint them because they did get a little bit damaged in the car wreck. They didn't crack or break, just some of the debris brushed against it and scraped some of the stuff off of it in the paint. So I do have to repaint those. Yeah, just let you guys know I do smoke. If you're not 21 or older, please do not smoke. It is a bad habit. I've been smoking since I was 11. It is a really bad habit, but I also have really bad anxiety issues, and smoking kind of helps my anxiety stay down. I do take meds for my anxiety every day. They are non-narcotic. I don't believe in drugs. If you smoke marijuana, cool. I used to be a pothead. I ain't got no problem with marijuana. You don't see marijuana users fucking breaking into people's houses and stealing shit, or breaking into their yards or going into people's yards and stealing stuff. I do not smoke marijuana because I am a truck driver and I deal with DOT. Not only that, but my company randomly drug tests us. So even if I wanted to, I wouldn't. But other than that, yeah, my pills are all non-narcotic. I take 9 pills a day. 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, and 3 at night. Yeah, 9. For all the people that came on my channel and followed me from TikTok, thank you very much. I do this stuff to give you guys good content and something to watch that you guys would enjoy watching. I am going to try not to make my videos so long, just so you guys, stay interested and don't lose interest, because I know some videos, sometimes people, they're too long. Why even bother? I'm making this video long just so I can show you guys the car, tell you a little bit about it, tell you a little bit about my everyday life, just so you guys can kind of see what I do for a living, what I like to do for fun, what my passions are. I do play a lot of video games, as you can probably see on my YouTube channel. I do play a lot of Call of Duty. I do have other games I play. I just forget to stream them, because usually my buddies want to play Call of Duty, so that's what we go play. But I do plan on playing a little bit more like Grand Theft Auto. I do a singing game with my kids. That is something me, my kids, and my girlfriend love to do with my kids. I do have 2 kids. My daughter is 11 and my son is 8. My girlfriend now is not my daughter's original mom. Me and my daughter's mom separated a long time ago. I've had full custody of my daughter since she was 3 months old. For about 6 years, I raised her by myself. And then I got married in 2012. And I was married for about 2 years. And then we got divorced. She wanted to go back to Mississippi. I didn't want to leave Washington State. So, stuff happens. Not only that, I mean, there's some other stuff too, but don't really want to get into that. But me and my girlfriend now, we've been together for a little over 5 years. She has a son from her previous relationship. She was never married. But he's my son. He might be my stepson, but I don't see him as my stepson. I see him as my physical son. He came into my life when he was 5, and me and my girlfriend have raised him ever since. I love him. He's cool. He's got really bad ADD, ADHD, so he's always hyper, which it can be annoying. My daughter suffers from seizures and grandma seizures. She's had seizures since she was about 3 or 4. Hopefully the medicine she's on will hopefully stop her from having seizures. She hasn't had a seizure in over 2 years. So that's good. The medicine is working. She's been on it since she was 3 or 4. My bad, I thought someone was coming to my house. But she has epileptic seizures is what it is. And the medicine that she's on, the first original medicine she was on, was not for grandma seizures. So it was pretty much just prolonging her having a seizure, and then it built up. And when it builds up like that over time, that's why they call it a grandma seizure, because it's a seizure that should have happened months ago, but it's just now happening because of the medicine. So we did get her on another medicine that is made for grandma seizures, which has worked great. The doctor actually wants to take her off of it since she hasn't had one in over 2 years. But I don't want to take that chance. Just because she does have a seizure, eventually one of these seizures could give her brain damage, could kill her, could make her a vegetable pretty much. And I don't want to put my daughter through that. So if the medicine's doing its job, I don't see why take her off of it. When she gets older, she wants to get off of it, that's her decision. But as long as she's living underneath my household, it's pretty much me and my girlfriend's decision. Which my daughter doesn't care. She takes her medicine twice a day. So all she has to take is twice a day. Hopefully, eventually, she'll grow out of them and she won't have to take them anymore. But other than that, guys, I just wanted to show you the car, show you a little bit about my life, a little about who I am, my kids, my family, my relationship. If any of you are actually wondering, I'm actually from Oklahoma. I was born in Lawton, Oklahoma on, Fort Sill. Both my parents were in the military, so I was actually born on Fort Sill, but lived in Lawton, Oklahoma until I was about 5 or 6. And then I moved to Tacoma, Washington, and that's where I lived for maybe 25 years. I spent 2 years in Brookings, South Dakota, which was the worst experience in the world. Don't ever move to Brookings, South Dakota. I lived in Mississippi for about 2 weeks. I lived in Detroit, Michigan for about 5.5 months, and then moved back to Washington, and that's where I pretty much stayed, was Washington, until about 2 years ago. I worked for the railroad, and they transferred me here to Colorado, which was great because my girlfriend is actually from Colorado, and her family lives here in Colorado. So going from Washington to here was pretty great because her family lives here. It kind of sucked leaving my mom and my brother back in Washington, but my mom eventually moved to Texas with a new boyfriend after my dad died. About 6 months or so, 6 months to a year after my dad died, one of the guys she worked with started dating him, and they moved to Texas. That's actually where I'm trying to go to, is Texas, because my company is getting ready to open a facility in Dallas, Texas, and they want me to be the manager down there for that place, which is awesome for me because that's a step up in my driving career, because I don't want to continue to drive my whole life. I've been doing it over 8 years. I love it. I love meeting new people. I love meeting the customers, making the customers happy. A little bit about my job. I do warranty swap outs for Samsung. So if you buy a refrigerator, microwave, dishwasher, washer, dryer, pretty much anything Samsung other than phones and laptops and tablets, and it's under warranty, I come and swap them out if they're under warranty. So I either bring you a new one, or I come and pick that one up and Samsung sends you a refund. So that's what I do for work. It's a pretty great job. I get paid a buttload of money. I love the company I work for. The company I work for is called Kenco, Kenco, Logistics or Transportation, whichever one you want to look it up under. They are a great company. They are opening up a couple new ones. They're going to be doing one in Chicago, one in Texas, and one in Southern California. When that opportunity hits, I can make another video and let you guys know where to go to apply, how to apply, what they're looking for, and hopefully one of my viewers or somebody, you know, even if you're not a viewer or you're just starting to follow me, you can get a job, and it's a great job. I mean, they pay for everything. They pay for your food, your hotel, if you need a pocket knife, whatever you need to do your job, they provide it for you. They give you a company credit card, a company gas card, so you don't ever have to pay for anything when you're out on the road. When I'm out on the road, I literally don't pay for nothing myself. It's all through the company, which I love, which that's great because a lot of trucking companies do not do that. Usually they have you pay for it and they reimburse you for a certain percent, or they only give you like $30 or $40 a day. We get $50 a day for food. That's just for food. Not drinks or anything, just food. Our hotels is anywhere from $120 to $200 depending on the area you're in. Sometimes you can't find none under $200. Most of the places you can. So our limit for hotels is $120 plus tax. If it's in one of the situations where there's no hotel for $100 or $120, you are allowed to go up to $200. And that's what I like about my company, especially during quarantine right now. They authorized us to go even higher just so we can kind of stay in nicer hotels and hotels that maintain their stuff a lot better. I think my cigarette went out. But yeah, other than that, guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for all the likes, the views, the follows on YouTube and TikTok. I do plan on live streaming probably Call of Duty tonight. I don't know what time. I'll make sure to put it on here, or I'll put it on TikTok. But I do plan on streaming a little bit, probably for about an hour or so. But yeah, if you guys like my content and you guys want me to keep doing more, please give me a follow, hit the like button, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. Sorry, the chickens distracted me for a second. So, I'll show you guys chickens. But yeah, thank you guys, and I hope you guys have a great afternoon.